Sports Podcast. I'm Marcus Benjamin, chilling with my guy, Wesley Pierre. We talk that real sports talk from the crib, Dade County, Broward County, Palm Beach County. And this week, hey, we got two teams in the playoffs. That's right, playoffs. We went in through the back door, man. Somebody let the back door open and we peeked in for those last two spots. Well, the last spots in both sports, hockey and basketball. So the Heat, though, man, they started it off with a bang, beating the Bucks game one.
Yep.
Everybody doubted us like they always do. Why, Wes?
The beaches, the women, and of course, the weather.
Exactly. So nobody was picking us. No, and as a matter of fact, don't pick us. Just like the UN team, you know what I'm saying? Don't pick us at all. But we do suffer a loss in that game, and that's Tyler Hero, which is unfortunate. Breaks his hand in the game and is basically out for the playoffs unless we make it to the NBA Finals, possibly to the Eastern Conference Finals, maybe. But it's a big loss because we need that second scorer behind Jimmy. I mean, Bam, kind of your do everything type of player, but without Hero, man, we need another hero on this team to come up with some big buckets like Tyler Hero did. So that was the unfortunate thing. But Miami does win game one, but unfortunately they lose game two to the Bucks, and Giannis wasn't even playing in the game. He also was injured in game one, and the Bucks just kind of took it to us last night. So now the series is tied 1-1, heading back to Miami on Saturday. So Wes, man, your thoughts on what's going down with the Miami Heat in round one?
My thoughts what the Miami Heat is typical Miami Heat. They find ways to lose the game. And that's exactly what they did for the second game. I mean, yeah, game one we lost. People gonna say it's because Giannis was injured, but we was mopping him before he even got injured. Personally, I think the Miami Heat play better against the Bucks when Giannis is on the floor, because when he's on the bench, you don't need to worry about him being a liability with the shot. Yeah, people gonna be like, oh, the defense is not as great when he's on the bench, but to have somebody that you have on the floor can be a liability, even though he's probably the greatest player in the game right now. Technically, I still think that's LeBron or probably KD, but in regards to Giannis, he still be a liability when it comes to playing basketball. His shot is not as consistent. If you watch the Milwaukee Bucks throughout the year, you can actually see that. Definitely a great player, man. Triple doubles, double doubles. You can consistently count out that with him. He's going to give you everything that's in his heart on the floor. He's going to leave it on the gridiron. Not the gridiron, but the court, on the basketball court. And when I seen him went down, I was really upset because, one, I know that they're going to talk shit. They're going to say that it's because he was injured. That's why we stole game one. And then also, too, because I know when he's on the bench or he's not playing, they actually play better with him on the bench, at least with us. Prior to game one, I told you we actually match up better against Milwaukee, and we do. But that's when Milwaukee have Giannis in the game. You don't need to worry about the 3-point shot with him. You don't really need to worry about a 15-point jumper. He can do it from time to time, but it's not as consistent. So you can actually see it off the TV, off the screen when you're playing these individuals like 7 games straight or consistently. Sometimes when you see players once in a blue moon, you're really gravitating towards the highlights, even though you're actually watching the game. So for me to watch the Miami Heat big ass meltdown on game two, it was kind of disturbing. When Tyler Hero actually went down for game one, I thought about you, Marcus. I'm like availability is the best ability, and I know that he's going to get traded now in the offseason. We already were speaking on Damian Lillard, having a song about Tua and the Dolphins and so on and so on. Of course, he's not going to speak directly on the Miami Heat because he played basketball, but if you could read between the lines, and for him to consistently be out of the postseason, last year it was him being injured with the groin. This year it's a broken hand. It's always something that's not going to allow him to give us what we expect from Tyler Hero, and that's buckets, just like Jimmy Buckets. And when you're not available in the off season like that, well, postseason like that, it's going to shine a big ass light on getting your ass up out of here. And even though I think that you're probably one of the best scorers, if not the best scorer on the team, you're not available. And we're tired of seeing you on the bench when we actually need you. So if we last a month and a half, maybe you can come back. But come on, man, we're going against Milwaukee, and that's the game that you want to go down. So I don't know, man. I'll let you chime in a little bit before I speak on game 3.
I mean, I think they got maybe a puncher's chance. I still feel kind of the same way. It's like they gave me a glimmer of hope for a moment in game 1. I'm just like, oh, so this is how we coming out. Oh, okay, so this is how we supposed to be playing, and now all of a sudden, we just kind of click in the first game of the playoffs, but then the injury happened. And I was just like, oh, okay, so this is the script. That's how I was feeling. I was just like, oh, so this is the script. I feel like of all the sports, the NBA is scripted the most. You know what I'm saying? Yep. I feel like the NBA is scripted. I actually don't even like watching the NBA anymore. As far as like all the sports that I watch, I think this whole year with working with Rivals and Kings County has changed my life and perspective about sports. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like college sports are better. You know what I'm saying? I feel like college football, college basketball was great. I mean, obviously, because of the run to the Final Four helped in that regard. But I'm actually watching baseball, and I'm actually interested in college baseball now. I'm not interested in Major League Baseball. I'm not interested in the NBA, and I was barely interested in the NHL. I'm watching it now because the Panthers are in it, and the NHL playoffs is still, I think, better than the NBA because there's a lot more parity. You never know who's gonna win, and we're gonna touch on the Panthers in a minute, but yeah, man, I get tired of watching the NBA. You see these games. I don't know if you've seen any other games, but of course LeBron comes back and beats Minnesota to win, and of course Draymond Green gets suspended for some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? By the way, you seen that? You seen what Draymond Green stomped on the dude?
Yeah, I don't know if it was accidental, but I would have stomped on his ass too. You grab my ankle in the middle of a fast break. You could make me hyperextend a knee or anything like that, and you're mad when I stomp on your ass. You deserve a stomp. I
don't think he did it on purpose. I think it's actually an accident because when you trying to run, somebody grab your ankle, you're gonna trip. And you're not going to have your balance. And the only place for his foot to land was on the dude. You know what I'm saying?
But Marcus, if that was you, I would believe you. But just because Draymond got a history of kicking people in the groin and doing all type of craziness, then I'm not going to give him that pass. But if you saying he did it on purpose, which I do think he did it on purpose, I would have done the same thing. Somebody's on the floor. I wasn't guarding you. You fell on the ground. It's a fast break. My team has the ball. And I'm running towards I'm trying to run towards the other end of the court, and you grab my ankle. Really? What do you think I'm gonna do? And then nothing happens to Sabonis. Now, it is what it is. I would have done the same thing. I understand the NBA got to go ahead and suspend Draymond, but he deserved it. Not Draymond, but the guy deserved it, man. Sabonis, you deserved it. I wish it would have had like a crack. You would have had like a cracked rib or something, because you got Draymond suspended. It's basically like what LeBron did when LeBron set him up when he was trying to walk over on Draymond Green and sun him like he was from top of square, and Draymond Green got up, in his face. Now Draymond, when that happened with LeBron, it kind of showed how big LeBron was compared to you. LeBron was in your face too, and you didn't punch him like Poole. But I don't know, maybe because that's the king, and I don't know.
Shit cut out a little bit, but the last thing I heard was
for his brand and for everything like that. So truly think that Draymond did it on purpose, and I don't mind him doing it on purpose, because anybody that want to go ahead and
you paused again, but I don't think he did it on purpose.
I
think it was totally an accident. Huh? You said you think you happy it's happened?
Yeah, I'm happy it happened, because
I'm not happy it happened because he got suspended. You know what I'm saying? And just like you ain't giving him a pass, apparently the NBA didn't give him a pass neither, and they suspended his ass. And now it's almost like they want Sacramento to win. You know what I'm saying? They want this small town. It's a good story. This is a team that was going to actually be out of business or was going to like move to another city like a couple years ago until,
really?
They were about to quit on this franchise because it's in Sacramento. You already got Golden State, which is very close to Sacramento as far as basketball fans are concerned. Like, they were going to give up on this team. And the owner, I think, got some more investors, or they put some more money into it to keep the team. All of a sudden, it seems like it's a feel-good story. And it seems like that's what the NBA wants right now. I just feel like it's scripted. And because of that, because of this, of how I think it's scripted, to bring it back to the Heat, I think the Bucks are going to end up winning this series because that's who they want. They don't want the Heat to move on to the next round because that's not going to bring ratings. They want to see Giannis. Giannis is hurt right now, but I'm pretty sure he'll be back. If not for the next game, he'll be back for the next game after that. Definitely will be back for the next series. And they want their superstar to be in it. And for some reason, Jimmy Butler, he's a star, but I don't think he's like a real superstar that the NBA really wants to see like that. And Bam is not a superstar either. He's a star, all-star, but not a superstar. So I think they want to keep the superstars in the next series. You got New York, obviously, is a big market, so it doesn't even matter who's on that team. And then you got Cleveland, you got Donovan Mitchell on that team over there. So it works either way there. But I just think it's scripted. Miami's going to end up losing this series. They probably push it to 6 games, maybe even 7. But I think Miami's going to end up losing this series because Tyler Hero getting hurt.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if Miami's going to lose the series just behind what you just said. As far as whoever wins this actual series, they'll be playing the New York Knicks. We know that the New York Knicks has a rivalry with the Miami Heat, even though it hasn't been like that in a few years, but we always hate the Knicks. And for our homeboy Gene, I definitely need to make it to the second round so I could talk shit to his ass. But besides that, that's the only thing that would lead me to believe that the Miami Heat would go ahead and make it to the second round. One, because game 1, when Giannis got out of the game, they almost came back. They almost came back and won that game. We was able to hold it down in the end and still seal the victory. But game 2, like shit, it looked like when we were playing the San Antonio Spurs and they couldn't miss for threes. You have people doing fadeaways in the 3-point line, shooting is going down. People falling to the floor and shooting threes and doing anything, and it's going down. Porter, I'm like, that guy Porter right there, he could be on anybody's team and probably start. It's kind of like when we had Alonzo Mourning as our backup to Shaq. It's like, what? Like, yo, you got Giannis, and then you got this guy over here backing you up. He could shoot threes. He could back you down, and be some type of give you some type of physicality at the baseline. Yo, man,
Yeah.
I love to see all that, but again, I think the Miami Heat still have a chance to win the game. What I really want to happen is Giannis to come back, especially if Giannis could come back and not be all the way 100%. Definitely an advantage to the Miami Heat. Right now, we feel like we have an advantage because we did our job. Our job was not to win both games in Milwaukee. Of course, we want that to happen, but that's just a Christmas present twice, and that's not going to happen. We stole game one. We could have stole game one or stole game two. We stole one of them. Fine, perfectly fine. The series is back to 0-0. Now, can we hold down home court? Can we hold down home court? I think we're going to win one in Miami. We're going to lose one in Miami, and then we're going to go back to Milwaukee, and they're probably going to beat us. It's going to be 3-2. They come back to Miami. It's either going to be a closeout or we're going to go ahead and make it a game 7. That's what I really, truly think is going to happen.
That's basically what I said, games, 6 or 7 games.
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to play out exactly probably how you said it. We probably get game 3 just because we have the home court and the momentum. Got 2 days rest. Usually Jimmy Butler, when he has like a couple of days rest, he comes full force. But to ask him to do that for 2 games in a row with no hero, it's going to be too tough for him to do. And I think they probably lose game 4, and then they end up losing game 5 as well.
And think about it. We normally see this like it was a blowout, but they was up by like 30. We had a 17-0 run and still was losing by like 14, 15 points. So yeah, you already know the damage that Milwaukee did to us. I'm thinking, damn, I lost my train of thought. Damn, you could go ahead. Let me try to remember what the hell I was gonna say. Crazy.
Yeah, man. I just think it's gonna be a tough series for the Heat. It's gonna be a really tough series, and I'm already thinking about the offseason, to be honest. I'm already thinking about who we get next, trading Tyler Hero, trading Kyle Lowry, trading Gabe Vincent, man. I actually don't want to lose him because sometimes
that's what I was telling you.
Good shots, you know what I'm saying? And Caleb Martin, I don't want to lose him either, but I would trade him if needed. He's definitely a tradable piece. Somebody would want him. And Duncan Robinson, obviously, all the money we paying him, and the only reason why he's even on the court is because Tyler Hero is hurt.
You gotta blame yourself, though, Marcus. You gotta blame yourself, though. I told you all the time.
Duncan Robinson?
Yeah, man, I gotta blame you. Because Marcus, you're the one that want to pay the players. I want the players to get paid too, but you want the player to think about himself and his family first. And that's exactly what happened. They thought about themselves. They got the payday. But us as a franchise, remember, I don't know them personally. My team is the Miami Heat. My team is not Tyler Hero. So, yeah, I want you to get this money. But every time we wind up paying people this money, it wind up not panning out. It hasn't been like that. The success story like we've been wanting for the last few years. Jimmy Butler get paid.
And he's still balling.
Yeah, he's balling now. No, he's still balling now.
He's balling actually.
Regular season, we be complaining like, damn, why you not playing this game? Why you not playing that game? Maybe you're saving it for the postseason. Okay, cool, no problem. But you got people breaking money, paying bread to come see you, and you're not there. That's one thing. Then you get Bam Adebayo, you pay him this money, and yeah, you be doing the double, this, that, and the other. But when I see you against other players that's getting paid that same money, you're not as dominant as I would see you in the regular season. I'm just saying that. These people, I want them to get the money. But again, when you pay them the money, sometimes they take a little foot off the gas. Sometimes you get a little bit injured a little bit more. Why? Because this injury that you could once play through, you're not playing through it because you're looking at the big picture now. Oh, hell nah, boy. I ain't going to play right now. My back is hurting a little bit. Whereas if you didn't have that money, I got to show them that I'm going to leave everything on the court. I'm going to show them that I'm one of these guys that every coach would want. They sacrifice everything. You got another UD on my team. Nah. This is what happens every sport. I'm sorry. I don't know why it happens like that. LeBron is the only one I haven't seen.
The only one, bro? You crazy.
Right now that I'm thinking, like you pay him the bread, you pay him, there's a lot of expectations from your ass. This nigga doing it for 20 years. For 20 years, practically. You're doing it for 20 years. You rarely got injured. Yeah, recently the last year, maybe 2 years, he been having a little injury bug. Minor things, but you expect that from somebody that barely, if anything, ever get injured. Everyone else, they get injured all the time. They'll be gone, the whole season. So, I don't like LeBron, but I'm going to give him that credit. Like, he be holding it down. The expectations that he had when he first got into the league, boom, he did that, been there, done that. You getting paid this money, boom, you still the same LeBron. Triple doubles, double doubles. You're later in your career, triple double, double doubles. So that's the only guy that I really see still doing his thing like that. Or if you're talking about another sport, Patrick Mahomes, you get paid the money and you still balling, you still that guy that people would want to go watch. But other people, like, come on, man, you get paid the money, Tyler Hero, you get paid the money, you're always injured now. I like you. I want you to be great. I mean, you're on my team, but you're injured now. Bam Adebayo, he got the money. He was injured. Yeah, we got him now, but he's been injured. Jimmy Butler, same thing, not playing back-to-back games, not being in the game consistently. Right now, we're in the postseason, so it really don't matter. But I'm just using these examples to back up what I'm saying. Like, when you pay these people the money, shit go left sometimes.
Yeah, I disagree 100%. I just think, I just think, but players they get injured. Players always get injured, whether they get paid or whether they don't get paid. Players get injured. Tua didn't get paid; he's always injured. So it really, like what you're saying has some validity to it. Tyreek Hill, he got paid. When was he ever injured? He was on the field the entire time. He played injured. You know what I'm saying? Like that. There's so many examples.
Anomaly.
There's so many examples of players playing after they get paid. So yeah,
some players.
And like I want to clear up what you're trying to say too, because with Duncan Robinson, yeah, I do want players to get paid, but I'd rather get Duncan Robinson to get paid by another team, not ours. You can get paid, but not by my team. I was never on the train of Duncan Robinson getting a big contract or Kyle Lowry.
You wasn't.
Or
Kyle Lowry. I already know.
Kyle Lowry, definitely. Like, I definitely was against that 100%. He's just old. And he's old. Like, he's been old for a while. I don't think it's because he got paid. That's why he's not playing. He's just old. He's past his prime. He needs to basically retire, and Miami just made a wrong move in trying to pay Kyle Lowry. So Damian Lillard got paid too. Always healthy, always ready to go. You know what I'm saying? Always ready to play.
That's a different type of guy though, man. That's a different type. I put him in the same like the Tyreek Hills and the LeBrons. Again, you're gonna have some people. I just used LeBron because that was the first person that came in my mind, making that statement. But you have some players when they get paid, they still do their thing. But you got a lot of players that get paid and they change. Just facts.
I think that's just your opinion, and I will disagree. I think it's just I think you're just trying to concentrate on those situations where they get paid and then all of a sudden that they're injured. So
Whiteside got paid.
Like that. Whiteside was never good, man. He was never a good player.
how you gonna say that?
Pat Riley just missed on that player. I don't know why he chose to pay Whiteside instead of Dwayne Wade in that situation.
Because Wade knew LeBron was leaving and didn't want to be loyal to the franchise, so he gave the money to someone else.
Whiteside. You pay somebody else. Where's Whiteside at now? Gone. I ain't seen him since he
but it's not just Whiteside. It's just I think he's gone from the league because the league it just changed from having that type of big man in the game. yeah, you're gonna have your anomalies like Brook Lopez that's still in the game, but he was able to evolve. I mean, you see when he's matched up against anybody fast on the Miami Heat, we're able to, do our thing against him offensively, unless we're in the paint. And I think that's the problem with Whiteside. Whiteside don't have the agility like what's his name, like a Bam Adebayo and so on and so on. I think that's why he's not in the game right now. Not because he can't get rebounds, not because he can't defend the paint, not because I think it's just the game. It changed right in front of our eyes, and for him, he's considered a dinosaur now. The league is not focusing on a big man like that. I think that he could be a better person personality wise, but sometimes people wear their emotions on their sleeves, and I would get mad if I want to be in the game and my coach is not letting me be in the game. But then on the other flip side, the coach don't want you in the game because you're giving up on plays or this, that, and the other. So I see it both ways, but I don't think Whiteside was a trash player. I just think that the game just evolved right in front of his eyes, right in front of our eyes, and he was not able to be the person in the paint like these big guys normally do, and stay in the paint and really don't have to leave there. So I think that's the only reason why he's not in the league. Because if you're talking blocking, walking double, come on, Marcus. I mean, maybe not like
Bam Adebayo was a better player than him, and that's why we chose Bam Adebayo over Whiteside. I mean, Bam Adebayo is basically the same player, but he's just better. He's just better.
Bam Adebayo is a power forward playing center. Whiteside was a center playing center. So the power forward have more lateral movement. He's able to be a little quicker than Whiteside. That's the only difference. Whiteside had a better shot than Bam, if you want to be technical. Whiteside, you remember Whiteside? You remember that first year? It was Whiteside and Bosch. Bosch was Whiteside was the center. Bosch went back to his regular position, and sometimes they would be flip-flopping with each other. You know what I'm saying? And then Bosch got injured in the playoffs, and then that was the end of Bosch's career in Miami. Not for being injured, but his health injury with the blood clots and stuff like that. But I remember when Whiteside and Bosch was in the game, you seen him free throws. We like, damn, this guy came from the YCA. Boom, when it came to 15 footers. Yeah, this guy came from the YMCA, blocking, rebound. So that was a difference. It was a difference. They were able. You kind of see what the Miami Heat, then what I'm talking about with Whiteside and Bosch when they were the center and power forward, is kind of how Milwaukee is right now with Giannis being the center. You got Brook Lopez and you got Porter. You have 2-3 big guys you got one that can stretch. You got one that's a great defender. You got one that has everything, all of that. That's Porter. Porter is a good defender. He can shoot the ball with the threes and everything like that. So I think it's just the game just passed him by, and he didn't think that was gonna pass him by. So I just think it just didn't work out for Whiteside in Miami.
I'm glad the Heat passed on him eventually because I just don't think he was that guy, and I'm glad they moved on from him and decided to move on to Bam Adebayo.
Quick question though for you. Would you say that if we would have Whiteside for like a $5 million a year, $10 million a year compared to the big contract? Because I think the reason why people don't like him because he getting paid all that money and he hasn't produced behind that contract. But if we had him got him for the cheap, like something that we've been paying UD, we're paying UD like $5-10 million or whatever it is, and he'd be on the bench. You do your thing in the locker room, trying to keep the Heat culture alive and keep players in check and certain things like that. But if we didn't pay him that money, I think he still would have been a Miami Heat because I think that it's just the amount of money. Sometimes a lot of people get scrutinized a lot harsher when you get paid that money, and I think that's exactly what happened. Some people, they get the money, you young, you never had nothing, and you don't know how to act. And that was also a problem as well. But I don't think that, for people to say that he was garbage, nah. If you say that, he gave up on plays, maybe I'll say that. But maybe I'm giving up on plays because I don't like my coach no more. My coach doesn't let me go in the game or this, that, and the other. So he probably was salty with Spo. I don't know, but I ain't gonna say
I
that
think he was inefficient with the basketball. I mean, he was good at defending, rebounding, blocking, but like when he got the ball, he wasn't efficient. He shot the ball like when like 2-3 guys were on him. Like he wouldn't pass the ball like Bam
why
does,
is that?
passing to the open man.
Why?
He just wasn't a good team basketball player.
Why though? Are you not asking
I don't know,
why?
maybe because he
My
grew up
coach
in
is
the
not letting me
NBA.
in the game. He's not letting me in the game. He let me in the game
Because
for
you're
1
not a
minute,
good
2
team
minutes.
basketball player. It's a team game. You're not a good team basketball player, so we're not gonna let you in the game
Listen to what I'm
because we're
saying.
gonna lose games with you in it.
Marcus, you're absolutely right. But what I'm saying is I'm giving you probably his perspective. My coach is not allowing me to play in the game. I'm getting paid all. Finally, when you let me in the game, you think I'm going to be passing the ball? No, I'm going to try to
Yes, you need to
score.
pass the
I'm going to try to
ball.
score. I'm going to try to score. I'm going to try to score. I'm sorry because I don't know when you're going to let me back in the game. I don't know. So I'm going to do something with the ball. That may sound selfish, and I know it is selfish, but I'm giving you the way he's probably thinking. You never let me play.
Hey,
I
that's football.
finally play, then I'm going to make sure I do something with the ball. I'm sorry.
I mean, that probably is how he's thinking, and that's why he's not on a team right now. I don't think he's on a team right now because he's a good one-on-one player. He's probably a good 3-on-3 player, but he's not a good NBA player because he's not.
You don't think that having Whiteside right now to guard Giannis, or I'm not even Giannis. Probably
You mean right now, Whiteside in his prime?
No,
Whiteside in his prime, or right now?
Well, I can't really. The only thing I remember is the Whiteside when he was on the Heat, because once he left, trust me, I wasn't following his career right now. So I'm just thinking the Whiteside when we had him. Right now, we would love Whiteside. We're outmatched like we're outmatched when it comes to height with Milwaukee. You don't think you could have put Whiteside in the paint and get Brook Lopez to not be balling like that in the paint, looking like he's a Hall of Famer, Porter balling like a Hall of Famer? Nah, Whiteside would be able. Whiteside would be able to guard them. Now you may be a liability against Giannis, but I'm not gonna put you against Giannis. If Giannis in the game and Brook Lopez in the game, Bam Adebayo in the game, and Whiteside is in the game. Whiteside, go ahead and stick Brook Lopez and Bam Adebayo, since you got the better lateral or movement agility than you be on Giannis. But I just think that he's not a bad player. I just think that money made him look like he's a bad player, and giving up on your team is definitely a bad thing as well. And I think he just gave up on the team at that time, or he just gave up on the coach, and it wasn't working out, so he had to go. But I would love Whiteside right now for like a $5 million, $10 million a year.
If he wasn't a bad player, then if he went somewhere else, then he would have did something. But he did.
He was still averaging the double-double. He was still averaging the double-double.
I ain't never seen him after the Heat. I don't even know what team he even went to after the Heat.
I don't remember. I think he bounced.
You don't remember either. So exactly.
No, he bounced out west. So I'm not going. I think he went to the Kings too. You feel me? Certain people, they send them to certain organizations to die, like the Cleveland Browns and stuff like that. And I think that's or the Oakland Raiders. I think that's exactly what happened to him. But ain't nobody gonna stay up at 10 o'clock to be watching no Sacramento or anybody from the West. Like, I mean, we stay on the East Side. Dade County bound.
Besides this year, Sacramento has been trash. So he probably was trash on a trash team, and that's why he disappeared.
DeMarcus Cousins was a great center, and he played for Sacramento Kings, and they still was the smartest team.
Eventually, he had to leave too because he was tired of being trash.
He was tired of being trash. I understand what you're saying, but again, he was still having triple doubles, and they still was trash.
That's what I'm saying. So you knew about DeMarcus Cousins, right? You knew about DeMarcus Cousins, who was on the Kings, but you don't know about Whiteside, who was also on the Kings. So what does that tell you?
I told you he averaged a double-double. I'm just not gonna stay up and watch them damn games. After he left Sacramento or whatnot, like I don't know where else he went.
Why you defending Whiteside so much anyway, man?
Because I don't like the way everybody's trying to make it seem like he was wrong for doing what he did in Miami. He was not wrong for doing what he did in Miami.
Basketball player. What you mean? He wasn't a good team basketball player. It's not like he's a terrible, like if we having a pickup game on the court, I'm picking Whiteside, bro. I'm gonna pick Whiteside.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick Whiteside for a big man. Why would I not pick a big man like him?
That's what I'm saying. But when you're
I'm not gonna pay you that money though.
It's about being efficient. You know what I'm saying? It's about, so, there was this argument on 560. I don't know if you heard about it, but it was an argument about DeMar DeRozan and Jimmy Butler and who you would take. You know what I'm saying? See, you would take DeMar. Why? Because he's a volume scorer and you can argue he's a better scorer, but he's not efficient though. I want an efficient player. He's not efficient like Jimmy Butler. Like, he's not going to waste a bunch of possessions. He's not going to turn the ball over as much as DeMar DeRozan is. That's why, to me, Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo is more valuable than a DeMar DeRozan or a Hassan Whiteside.
I hear what you're saying about the DeMar DeRozan, but I don't have his numbers in front of me. All I do is know right now that he's a great player as far as shooting the ball, and he averaged like 28 points a game or certain things like that. He be clutch when I be seeing him shooting the ball. So again, I'm not watching him like that to be like, oh nah, because you're absolutely right. Jimmy Butler efficient. When LeBron James was here, he was efficient. D Wade, same thing, efficient. You shoot the ball 16 times, you make it 14 or you make it 13. That's right. That I feel you. I'll take that too. But if you're talking about just that's a smart player. That's a smart player that know what he's doing. But you know what happens when your ass got talent, man? Some people they're like, man, my talent gonna hold me down. I don't need to really focus on the ins and outs of the game like Jimmy Butler is doing. Jimmy Butler know that his game wasn't his. Jimmy Butler today is not the same Jimmy Butler like 7-8 years ago. He was a defender. He that was not his game. Whereas DeMar DeRozan, he came in being an offensive guy. So me outside looking in, I'm gonna be like, if you're talking about the better player, if you're talking about just scoring wise, in my head, I'm gonna go with DeMar DeRozan. But if you want to go ahead and go on what you're saying as far as being efficient, I know for a fact, Jimmy Butler is efficient. So it depends on what you want. It depends on what you want. I tell people all the time. Same thing. People say that about Kobe. And, Kobe is one of the GOATs, one of the greatest of all time to do it. But what did I say about Kobe? What did I say about Carmelo? You got to shoot the ball 50, 60 times to get 30 points. You know what I'm saying? So trust me. I feel you. I feel you 100%. But again, right now, I don't have DeMar DeRozan's
I looked it up. I looked it up. So Jimmy Butler, 22.9 points a game, 5.9 rebounds, 5.3 assists, 53.9% from the field.
Okay, so more than half.
DeMar DeRozan, 24.5 points per game. So basically 1 point, you could say, or 1.5 points more than Jimmy Butler. Rebounds, 4.6. So Jimmy got him by 1.5, basically. Okay. And assists, basically the same. And field goal percentage, Jimmy got him by 4%, basically.
So you're like 49%?
DeRozan's 50% and Butler's 54% from the field.
Oh, okay, so yeah, the efficiency, yeah, you're absolutely right, but they're typically kind of the same player, but Jimmy Butler, better defender, better leader, better, more efficient.
Too. Better defender will get you more steals. That type of player. I definitely would take Jimmy Butler over DeMar DeRozan any day of the week. I mean, I love Russell Westbrook. Like, he's one of my favorite players to watch. But he's one of the most inefficient players on the court. Like, he's just an inefficient player. That's why lately the teams that he's on, they don't win because he's just inefficient. He makes bad decisions. He turns the ball over. He takes wild shots. He takes, shots when 2-3 guys are on him. That type of thing.
Only player to average a triple-double, though.
He's missed the triple-double. Like I said, I'm a fan of Russell Westbrook, but He's just not an efficient player, and that's why he's been bouncing around teams lately. So yeah, give me an efficient player. I don't know how we got on this, but like give me an efficient player over inefficiency and a volume score, because that's what wins in the NBA.
All right, before we close out the Heat topic real quick, let's go ahead and talk about Game 3. Game 3, I think we spoke on it. I think that we're going to win Game 3. The reason why I feel like we're going to win Game 3 is because that way that it was a 30-point lead. Normally these games, when they're shooting out of the park, is normally Game 3 or Game 4. You see that from a team. You don't normally see that Game 1 or Game 2. Normally Game 1, Game 2 is closed, and then you'll gradually start seeing the offense open up. Yesterday, playing them, Game 2, and they doing what they did. I'm like, okay, that's gonna open up the Heat eyes real quick. And I expect us to win a close game for the next game. A close game. Or it can be the onslaught on offense with us doing the same thing that Milwaukee just did to us. So I think like you say, the game is scripted. It happens a certain way. We had we happen to be lucky to have a team that consistently make the playoffs, won a few championships. So I kind of know how it looks, first, second, third round before we actually get to the finals. And yeah, I know we look like we're outmatched, but I think we match up well. And I think that the Miami Heat would definitely bounce back for Game 3 and possibly lose Game 4.
Yeah, man. What you said, basically. I mean, Game 3, I'm gonna be watching. We'll see what happens. I think it's gonna be a low-scoring game because Miami was shooting the lights out Game 1. Same thing with the Bucks Game 2. It's gotta revert back to the mean. And there's no way both teams are gonna continue to score like that. And I think Miami, put the clamps on them defensively, and they won a very, very close game. Probably a last second shot by Jimmy, you know what I'm saying? Or last second free throws by Jimmy. I feel like that's what it's going to come down to.
Okay.
But on that same Saturday night, we got a big boxing fight. I know you're not into boxing like that, but you know who Gervonta Davis is.
Who don't know Tay?
Okay. You know who Tank Davis is, and he will be fighting Ryan Garcia this Saturday. I mean, I'm excited about it. But did you see the video in which they went on live and he basically kind of doubled the money? Like they made like a bet over the Instagram live.
Oh, yeah, I think I heard something about that.
Said that they basically doubled the money of what the prize is going to be, or the purse is going to be.
I think how they doubled it was whoever wins take everything and the loser gets nothing, something like that.
Right. I tell you, when I saw it, and me and Chris, we kind of touched on it a little bit, it didn't seem real. You know what I'm saying? It seemed scripted in itself. And then Ryan Garcia, I don't know where he's from, but he doesn't seem like he's from the hood like Tank Davis is, right?
I see his highlights though, boy. He a beast though. He a beast.
Yeah. And did they fight before, Chris?
Mm.
They never fought before. Okay.
You're on mute.
So Gervonta Davis must have knocked out somebody that looked just like him though, because I see him knock out somebody and they look virtually the same. But I've seen highlights of Ryan Garcia. I've never seen him fight, but it's definitely a fight that I'm excited about just because I like seeing Gervonta Davis fight. Because to me, Gervonta Davis is the way he fights, he's like the new Mayweather. He's a defensive fighter. He's good at avoiding the contact. And what's the difference between Mayweather is that he actually has knockout power. Like I don't remember. I mean, did Mayweather the last Mayweather knockout, was that De La Hoya? I mean, I don't remember, but it was like Not any of those recent fights did he have like a knockout, but Gervonta Davis can knock your ass out.
Yeah, man, definitely, man. I do know about Tank. Everybody should know Tank if you know about sports, period. Especially, being under the money team all them years. Of course, I think he's by himself. He got his own team or promotion company now, promoting himself. But Tank been doing his thing, man. Been knocking out people, been talking shit, been being that person that you want to see. He's not that individual that he's like, oh, I'm humbled and this, that, and the other. Like, nah, he's a dog. You feel me? He's a dog that's been in the cage and he's ready to butt shit. As far as what Ryan Garcia, man, that's the person that back then when I think not this previous fight with Tank Gervonta Davis, but I think probably like the fight before. That's the person that I thought was Ryan Garcia, and probably is the same. Probably looks like the same person, like what you were saying. They look similar or they look identical, something like that. But that's who I thought was going to fight Tank, a few fights back was Garcia, because I seen the highlights back then and I'm like, damn, who the hell this guy is, boy? Yeah, same weight class and everything like that, seeing but of course seeing someone's highlights, it's not going to give you justice like that, because of course it's highlights. You're not going to show me none of the negatives. Right. But just seeing his hands, seeing how he got knockout power too, knocking out people. I was like, damn, boy, who gonna win against him and Tank? Unfortunately, that wasn't the fight, but we got it right now and we have it on Saturday. It came quicker than I thought it would, because Gervonta just had a fight, for him to go ahead and have a fight like maybe like 2-3 months later. That just shows you that last fight, man, it didn't do nothing to him, man. Normally these boxers takes months on end, maybe 5-6 months out of the year before they fight again. Some of them, they fight one time a year, So to see Tank having a fight after, to see them going back and forth, talking shit to each other, to see them, doubling the purse, even though it did look scripted, but again, if I was someone that heard that and didn't see the conference, like, who does that? You fight and you're not gonna get no money? Like, you lose. So you lose, get your ass whooped on national television, and you also don't get no money. So that's the type of fights they need to have more of.
I hope his agent told him to back out of that shit. I really do. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just, because you never know what can happen in a fight, right? Like, you could get your eye poked in, and then all of a sudden you can't fight as good as you used to. Man. You could twist your ankle or something like that. Something like that could happen, and you could be the better fighter, but you just don't win that day. You know what I'm saying? But at least you still get paid. You feel me?
Hey. I think these should be the type of fights that they have from now on. And then you'll really have truly a real fight. People really fight. All that running, you be having fights where people running around, playing Ring Around the Rosie in the ring. No. It's a possibility that this sport, when it comes to the judges, sometimes is very controversial. So do I want to leave this in their hand right now and me leave with maybe nothing? I gotta knock this motherfucker out right now so I can seal the deal and get this purse. So I think that if you was Marcus was the agent, you'll be telling him to back off. But for the sport, I think this is a good thing. I think that it will draw people to actually watch the sport. And I think if it was scripted, this is their plan. Like, who fights a professional? It's like you're all right. You're in the NBA. You got the Milwaukee Bucks. You got the Heat, but you don't get paid unless you win the series or you win the game. What? Like you said, if I twist my ankle, if I break my hand like Tyler Hero, what? Are you serious? So I don't mind. I'm definitely gonna watch the fight. Who do you got? I got my dog Tank Boogie with it.
I can't go against Tank, because even when you watch the live, it seemed like Garcia wasn't really confident in doing the whole purse. Like he seemed like he was just because he was on a live, he didn't want to get punked by Tank, and he just said it. But like I think in his head, he was just like, "Why am I doing this? Why am I saying this? You know what I'm saying I shouldn't be doing this. Somebody stop me. Somebody cut off this live right now." You know what I'm saying that's how I felt, and because of that, you can't go against Tank Davis, man. But since we talk about boxing, man, I just kind of want to throw different stuff with this podcast, man. Who would you want to see fight each other, bro? Like anybody, like either celebrity, coaches, just actresses, actors. Who would you see like scrap up right now?
Shit, we spoke on it a little bit before. I wouldn't mind seeing Draymond Green fighting Sabonis. I wouldn't mind seeing Draymond Green fighting Jordan Poole on his team. I want to see LeBron. I wouldn't mind seeing LeBron James fight that guy that was trying to punk him the other game, even though they won the game. But I wouldn't mind seeing that. Who else? I wouldn't mind seeing Kevin Durant,
Angel Reese, and Caitlin Clark. Those two basketball players that was going at it.
But we know who's gonna win though. We know who's gonna win though.
We know who's gonna win that. From Baltimore, Baltimore.
I wouldn't mind seeing Nicki Minaj and Cardi B fighting. I wouldn't mind seeing that. I wouldn't mind seeing Quavo fighting Offset behind the whole Sweetie situation and the Quavo Amigos breaking up situation. But there'll be a few fights I wouldn't mind seeing.
Gucci and Jeezy.
Gucci and Jeezy, but Gucci gonna whoop his ass though. I seen Gucci fight. Gucci, boy. I remember he gave somebody a haymaker. That person was out cold.
Was that before or after he got locked up?
That was before he was locked up. That was fat Gucci. Now imagine fit Gucci. What?
I don't know. Like fat people be having the fat people strength though, man. The fat people's strength be knocking people out. Like you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. We'll see.
This is the best one.
Which one?
I know it's gonna be for the old geezers and stuff. But I wouldn't mind seeing Trump versus Biden have a fight, because I remember Biden had said, "I wish I could take you to the back and punch you, knock you out, or something like that." That would be amazing. Two old people fighting.
I don't think Biden has a chance, to be honest. I don't think. I mean, Biden be barely walking. He be barely talking. You know what I'm saying? I think Trump wins that one. I'm not gonna lie.
You're right.
I'm not gonna lie. I think Trump got him, man.
That'll be a good one. But yeah, man, I would love to see any one of them celebrity fight. It's kind of like, you remember Celebrity Deathmatch when we were growing up?
Yeah.
Boy, I used to love that show, man. I don't even know why they stopped that show, because boy, like right now they would be making hella cash, And I remember when we first started with Velocity, and they had that on 24/7 was Celebrity Deathmatch, and I used to watch that too recently. I'm like, damn, boy, this is hard. But I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind a celebrity boxing match. You got problems with somebody, don't shoot it out. Let's go ahead and fight in the ring, and we both make money and call it a day.
Nate Diaz, Jake Paul.
Nate.
Yeah, you're right, Chris. You're right.
Nate Diaz, Jake Paul. That's an interesting fight for me, bro, because I love Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz, he's one of my favorite.
Yeah, but we
watch. You know what I'm saying? Nate Diaz is a dude that I feel if I knew, he'd be my homeboy, and we would have a beer together or whatnot. But I was impressed with Jake Paul in his last fight. I was really impressed with him. I feel like, okay, this guy is a legit boxer, because he stood toe to toe with Tyson Fury,
brother.
Yeah, Tyson Fury's brother. I forget his first name, but yeah, he showed me something in that fight. So that's why I can't just take Nate Diaz to win, because Nate Diaz is a good stand up, fighter on his feet. Um, I think most of his fights is probably he won standing up. But Nate Diaz is kind of like he's on the wrong side of things. He's on the retirement side of things. And Jake Paul he's up and coming young buck especially trying to prove that he's not only a legit fighter, but he can, hold his own against other fighters. I mean, he's already beaten, was it like 2 or 3 UFC fighters already? And then he fought a boxer. So now he's coming back to fight another former UFC fighter, or I think Nate Diaz is actually still fighting in the UFC. But of course, he doesn't get the big name fights no more. So as of right now, I think Jake Paul would win that fight.
I think Jake Paul going to win the fight. I'm like, come on, man. Nate Diaz, man, I have respect for you. I still have respect for you for knocking everybody out in that octagon. But like Marcus just said, man, like everybody that Jake Paul wind up fighting from the UFC, he wind up dismantling and winning the fight. And I don't see anything different. I don't see anything different from what I'm thinking. Also, like Marcus, like what you said, look, that last fight, he got some respect put on his name. You feel
Tommy
me? Like,
Fury. It's Tommy Fury. Tommy Fury is
his name is Nobody Fury. You feel me? but yeah, I'm thinking right after that fight,
I mean, that nobody did beat Jake Paul though.
That nobody beat Jake Paul, but that nobody is the brother to the actual champion. So he must have some type of positive training being around the champion. So he got that advantage. And also he just looked like fatigue.
Can't hear you.
Yeah, it looked like it looked like he came in prepared. And to be honest with you, I think that he needed lose that fight. He needed to lose that fight, and notice he lost the fight, and you still respect him a little bit more now. So I think
I
that
definitely respect him more because he was actually humble about it too. Like after the fight, he was humble. He was like, "Yeah, I'm not even supposed to be here," because he's not. You know what I'm saying? But I'm still here. I'm lucky. I'm blessed. Saying all those type of things. He felt like he won the fight, which it was a close fight. Could have gone either way. Could have been a decision. Could have been a draw. But yeah, he was humble about it, which is only gonna grow his fans and his likeness. So, yeah.
You know what I think? Jake Paul's gonna whoop Nate Diaz.
You said what?
Jake Paul's gonna whoop Nate Diaz.
Yeah, he is. It's like it's just
no. He's an old man, beating on an old man. That's not even fair. That should be illegal.
Yeah, but same like what Tua said, man. It's my body, it's my health. Get your ass whooped, get that bag. People don't care. I mean, it's not like Nate Diaz is undefeated in any sport. He won some. He won a lot more than he lost. So, and he probably making more money in this fight than he did with a UFC fight. So, to be honest with you, I just hopefully both of them don't have no major injury. Whoever win, they win, and at least they collect some type of purse. Hopefully, it's not going to be like Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia, where if you win everything. If you lose, you leave with nothing. So, for me, I think. Well, I know that Jake Paul's going to win, and I know Nate Diaz he's gonna hold his own too, because again, majority of his fights he he could do everything in UFC, but I see him knocking out people. I see him using his hands a lot more. And, a lot of UFC fighters, some are more proficient in judo, some in wrestling, some in boxing. So Nate Diaz, I see him more so in the boxing. Yeah, he's good with the wrestling and grappling and stuff like that, but different sport. He's going to have to stand on his feet and do what I seen him doing in the UFC, and which was knocking out people, hitting people with combinations and winning like that. So let's see if he could do it for, is it 12 rounds? Is it 12 rounds, Marcus, or is it 8?
I don't know. It's probably not 12 though.
Yeah. So no matter the fact, as long as they wind up collecting the bag, people watching, you're going to have some UFC fighters, people that follow Nate Diaz watching. You're going to have people that hate Jake Paul watching, hoping that he lose again. But I doubt that he lose back to back. And this is one of the reasons why you can go back and fight some of these people that you tend to beat in the UFC. Yeah. So that's what I get from that. But yeah, man, I want to talk about your hat, man. I want to talk about that team. You feel me? The University of Miami. Yes. That's why we like, man, we got a spring game that just happened. We got Hurricane Bang running amok like I was telling you, man. Damn, boy. I don't know if it's Reuben Bang or if it's the O-line just trash. You know what I mean? Because the O-line look trash to me. I'm sorry. You know? Like, yo, that left tackle is not it. I'm trying to tell you, boy, you're not it. Hopefully you're a backup and not the starter, because Reuben Bang he made a home in the backfield. The defense was just doing their thing. I didn't really see too much from the running backs. Yeah, you may have some running backs did some, small things, but nothing that popped out of the screen for me. I want to ask real quick before I go into the spring game, because I seen shit online today which kind of pissed me off. And I know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about, man.
TVD.
Yeah.
Like, so this guy, he want to get traded? He want to hit the transfer portal? What's going on, Marcus? You're the scoop. You're the insider. Let me know if that's the case. He want to leave?
Now, let me start by saying this. Tyler Van Dyke has thought about transferring before. When it was Josh Gaddis, for obvious reasons, because he wasn't sure if Josh Gaddis was going to leave or not, and he wanted to take an NIL deal with Notre Dame. I might have mentioned it on a podcast before.
You did.
So now Alabama is in need of a quarterback. They're about to lose Bryce Young, and the quarterbacks they got from what happened in spring, or is happening in spring, they don't feel are championship level. So from what I know, the offensive coordinator for Alabama did reach out to Tyler Van Dyke.
Ain't that tampering?
This is all a rumor. And yes, that is tampering because he's not in the transfer portal. So that's all a rumor. You know what I'm saying? Do I think it's true? I think it's true. I do think that the OC or somebody from Alabama did talk to Tyler Van Dyke, and they probably offered him some NIL deals to see if he can come through to Alabama. Now, will Tyler Van Dyke do it? I don't think so. I don't think he'll do it. You know what I'm saying? Because one, he likes the offensive coordinator a lot. It's back to the offense that he was balling with Red Lashley in 2021. And Miami's NIL, like when you say, okay, we need to up the money on somebody to keep somebody, they usually follow through on that. So I think Miami's going to do what they need to do. But the thing with Alabama is that Alabama's actually not big on NIL. Yeah, they got a bunch of money. Their facilities are great, but they're not big on NIL. They're more of a traditional kind of type of school, and they're going to live off of their tradition and their success between the last few years. They're not going to try to sell you on NIL. They're going to just try to sell you on Alabama and those 15 championships or however many championships they got. Miami, on the other hand, we're willing to do, legally whatever we need to do to get you to stay and provide you with options that you would like. And I think that's what they will do with Tyler Van Dyke. I don't think he's gonna leave. I think there's maybe a 20% chance that he leaves, but I think it's an 80% chance that he stays because of that OC, what Cristobal is doing over there, and you know, that offense. And you know, I hope that answers your question about Tyler Van Dyke and that whole situation. But to answer your question about the offensive line, so I took a deep dive within the past couple of days through this to the spring game.
Okay.
Basically analyzed every play. I looked at who was beating who on the offensive line. And to be honest, man, so first off, two starters didn't play. Inez Cooper and Javion Cohen. According to Cristobal, they got nicked up in like right before the spring game. I posted this too. There's like offensive D-line one-on-ones that they go through. They go hard too, like it's a game, because they're trying to impress the coaches. So in that, Javion Cohen got hurt. He didn't play. Inez Cooper also got hurt and didn't play. Those are your two starters at guard. Those two guys didn't play. You got Francis Mauigoa, who started, who looked pretty good for a freshman. I'm not going to lie. Like anytime Nigel Kelly couldn't get around, it's because Francis Mauigoa was locking him up. Now, Jalen Rivers, he had some times where he was good and he had some times where he was bad.
More bad than good.
One of those times was that last sack against Ruben Bain. Ruben Bain just basically ran past him. He just ran past his ass. Like, Ruben Bain's got deceptive speed. He looks like he's not fast, but he is fast. And he just ran past him. The great thing about Ruben Bain is that you don't know what he's going to do. Sometimes he come at you with a bull rush. Sometimes he'll just swim around you with his arms, or he'll just run past you. and you can't even catch up to him because these big guys just can't catch up. So I feel your concerns 100% about this offensive line. It's not deep, bro. Like when you get to that second level of offensive linemen, they are not good. There's a couple of players on there who probably shouldn't even be on the team, and they probably going to hit the transfer portal because they're not going to, play. But there's a couple of players that I think that should stay, like Lawrence Seymour. I think he did a good job for what was considering Logan Sakapalu. He actually looked pretty solid for not being the starter. Samson Okunlola, the other 5-star, he looked pretty good for a regular freshman. He's being kind of compared to Francis Mauigoa, which is kind of not fair, but he's still doing good for what he is. And then Ryan Rodriguez, I think, is a legit backup center. He had some good blocks in the spring game. He had a really good block on Keontre Smith that sprung a really long run from one of the running backs. So I think he's a solid player as well. But everybody else on that offensive line, suspect as hell, bro. Suspect as hell, bro. Like we is hoping. So first off, I saw Zion Nelson on the field. Didn't have a brace on. He was walking around normal. So he is going to be competing for a job or in the offensive line rotation come fall, which is a great thing. If you like him or not, at least he's another body that's in there. Matthew McCoy, which is a guy that they liked a lot, he was hurt. He didn't play. Jonathan Dennis, he's a guy who played last season. He didn't play. Antonio Tripp, one of the recruits, he was in an arm brace, so he didn't play. So, and then you also have Tommy Kinsler, who's coming in the fall, and you have Frankie Tenelau also coming in the fall. So to kind of ease your pain a little bit, they had a lot of players who didn't play, and because of that, that second team offensive line was trash and looked trash because of that. And probably one of the strongest groups on this team is the defensive line. Like Jaden Wayne was getting through, running through free. Ahmad Moulton was getting through, running through free. I ain't got to tell you about Ruben Bain. Who else? Chance Williams was in the backfield a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like he was in the backfield like maybe 4 times, got a deflection on a pass. And this is also without Jafari Harvey, who didn't play, without Leonard Taylor, who didn't play. Akeem Mesidor didn't play a lot. He played a little bit, but he's been hurt. So why play him? They saved him. So he didn't play a lot. Jared Harrison Hunt didn't play in this game. So I'm saying that defensive line is probably the strongest position. And then you got all these guys potentially out, especially Jafari Harvey, who's probably going to start, and Leonard Taylor, who's probably going to start. So that makes you feel really good about this D line.
Definitely did.
Yeah, and probably made you feel a little bit better about the O line too once you get all those guys back.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I needed that. I needed that. You gave me a cold bottle of water right now, and I'm hydrated definitely because watching that game, I was like, yo, what's good? Well, no, really, I was watching for the O line and for the receivers. You know what I'm saying? The receivers made some plays. Of course, I'm gonna jump into that in a second. But the O line, I just was like, yo, and then to hear TVD this story come out now, I'm like, damn, he's probably like, shit, I'm not getting injured again. Hold up, this the same O line that I'm gonna be behind? Oh no, let me go ahead and go to Alabama. So hopefully he don't go to Alabama behind the O line, and hopefully. He has more insight in behind what's going on. Basically, what you're saying, all these people that's supposed to be coming in later on in camp. But yeah, man, Daniel Joseph.
Oh, this guy, man, love this guy, man, because he is actually like when you think of a Miami Hurricanes football player, especially at receiver, you think of like a player like this, like a player like. Anytime the ball gets in his hands, he could be taking it to the house, and he played pretty well. And the only reason why he probably didn't play better is because he was playing with the second team a lot. He's playing with Jakari Brown and he's playing with Emory Williams, and the only reason why is because he's playing behind Xavier Restrepo, who was balling like a dog, like he always is. So I felt really good about the receivers overall. To be honest, man. I felt like Kobe Young played well. Isaiah Horton made some good catches. Xavier Restrepo looked good. Robbie Washington, he had a drop, but he had a couple of catches later on in the game, so you could tell he's on the way to getting better. Didn't really see a lot from Bouchard Smith. He wasn't targeted a lot, but Jacoby George, bro. Jacoby George. First of all, his touchdown catch, which was like amazing because Derek Porter actually had really good coverage on him, but somehow he caught the ball and got a foot down for a touchdown. And then on another play, he took it like 30 yards on a screen. And so I'm really excited about Jacoby George. And that kid I don't know what happened to him. Something snapped. Well, I actually asked him in a press conference. I was just like, did something happen? Like what happened? Like, how did you change like so fast like that? And he said it's because he had a child, and that kind of changed his whole perspective. And he felt like he had to play a little harder, and he's got something to play for. And I was like, well, thank God for that, because now you looking like the kid that I seen in high school at Plantation, just running all over the place. So he runs really good routes. To be honest, I think besides Restrepo, he's probably the best route runner on the team. So
better than Daniel Joseph?
As far as route running?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's better than Nathaniel Joseph right now. I mean, Nathaniel Joseph is still a baby.
He's a rookie. Yeah. No, that's definitely music to my ears again. Once again, Marcus Benjamin, go ahead and feel me. Yo, I'm loving it, man. Like, and to hear that he had a kid, because I know exactly how he feels. Like, I moved a certain way when I didn't have a kid. As soon as I have a kid, as soon as I had a kid, a big shift in how I react. I'm a lot more, not more confrontational, Everybody know Wes for being a hothead. Like, if it's a problem, I'm gonna jump into that situation. Now I'm just like, ain't worth it. I'm trying to get back to the crib, to my family, this, that, and the other. If anything happened to me, like, who's gonna be that man that raised him? I don't need nobody else raising him. I know myself, and I think I'm the best man to actually raise him. So trust me, when I see Jacoby George doing that is just showing he's like, look, man, if I don't make it, how I'm gonna provide for this kid? It's already hard living in Miami. A lot of people are gonna be moving out of Miami because the cost of living is so high. So to see him having that, that turnaround so quick. Of course, right now it's spring game, it's practice. Hopefully, he could do that in the regular season. But I mean, you got to start from somewhere, and for you to see that up and close and personal, because it's different when you're at the game compared to when you've seen it on film or seeing it on TV. Is a difference from when you speaking to him directly. For you to get that information from him, asking a real question and him giving you a real answer. We like to hear stuff like that. So yeah, man, big up to Jacoby George and of course to Marcus Benjamin. You did you post that? Did you post that story? You need to. That
story. I probably need to post it like on Instagram or something like that.
Well, I'll
tell the twins to post something.
Yeah, because that's the great success story, man.
Yeah. So yeah, just like I said, overall the receivers I felt played really well. I was impressed with Riley Williams at tight end. Yeah, because he was out there making plays. I was pretty impressed with Emory Williams as well, the third string quarterback, because
he's gonna be the backup, if not the starter, if TVD leaves.
It's very possible. It's very possible because he just had command of the offense. It's not like he didn't know what was going on. He was telling people where to go. For you to just get here, you would just come like January, and it's a new offense for everybody, and you already, grasping the offense the way you do. I mean, that makes me feel really confident about you. It seemed like he wasn't afraid to run as well when needed to. His balls weren't really off as far as accuracy is concerned. He seemed to have a really good rapport with Riley Williams and Nathaniel Joseph. So I'm excited for him as well. The other player I definitely have to shout out is Francisco Mauigoa. The linebacker in the middle, bro. Like this kid was everywhere. When I watched it the first time, I was like, man, he's good. When I watched it the second and third time, I was just like, yo, this kid is gonna be really good, man. Really good. Because he on that play to Jacoby George where he ran for 32 yards, who do you think ran him down? It was Francisco Mauigoa. This kid is really instinctive. He's fast. He's a sure tackler. I think there's no doubt he's going to be the number one linebacker. Him and Wesley. Wesley looked pretty good too. He should have been credited with a sack that they didn't count. Nigel Kelly should have been credited with a sack that didn't count. They were letting them play because, like you said, and like we've said, that O-line was so trash that if they would just let all the sacks really count, it would have been a terrible spring game. Like they would have had like no plays at all because Ahmad Moulton should have had a sack. Nigel Kelly probably should have had 2 sacks more. Chance Williams should have had 2 sacks more. Jaden Wayne should have had a sack that they didn't count. Because you could tell like they told those players like, hey, when you get close to making a sack, slow down, because that's what they did. As soon as they thought they were about to come up with a sack, they literally just slowed down, and that's why the plays kept going. So that was a bad look for the O-line, but defensive line looks great. But yeah, like the deepest position groups is D-line and linebacker, because the fact Chase Smith is another player at linebacker who didn't play, he was injured. And then you got the 3 linebackers coming in. Malik Bryant, also a player who was injured, didn't play. Actually, I wasn't sure if he was injured. I don't know if that was a discipline issue or not. But you still got Marcellus Polium that's coming through later. Joshua Horton also coming through later. So I really feel good about the front 7. The 4 linemen, or the front 6, I guess you could say, in this type of defense. The 4 D linemen and the 2 linebackers. I'm still a little concerned about the DBs, though, as far as depth is concerned. Because I feel about Devontae why I can't think of his name. um, I don't know why I can't think of his name. I want to call him. It's not Devontae.
And you talking about receiver?
Nah, the DV for my
Devontae Brown.
Devontae Brown. I don't know why I couldn't think of his last name, but anyways, yeah, I really like him a lot, and I think he's the legit DB. And I like Daryl Porter too. I feel like he made a lot of good plays. He stopped. He had two pass deflections that were definitely great plays. And then to Corey Couch, I didn't really get to see him in coverage. He made a couple of good tackles. But Jaden Harris is still kind of a work in progress. Chris Graves still young. Terry Roberts didn't really show me much. The transfer from Iowa, he didn't really show me much. Isaiah Horton was kind of eating them. Kobe Young was eating them too. So I think if there's an injury in the defensive backfield, Miami could be in trouble. So they'll need to find somebody in the transfer portal, I think, just for depth.
Okay.
Concerns. Branson Dean is another player who was hurt, did not play, transferred from Purdue, defensive lineman. And then somebody else. Keontre Smith, I thought looked pretty decent. He had a for sure interception that he should have. He basically baited Ja'Carri Brown into a throw, which was a great play. He baited him into the throw, but he doesn't make the play.
Swatting the ball,
he doesn't make the play. And I was like, okay, well, that could be the reason why he's in the rotation and not going to be a starter behind Wesley. And Corey Flagg was another player who didn't play because of injury. So linebacker is deep, which is something I usually don't say in the spring for Miami. But I like what I've seen from Henry Parrish as well. He didn't get a lot of carries, but when he did get carries, he was getting big chunk yards. Even Don Chaney was looking pretty good. He had a couple of good runs. He caught the ball well in space and scored a touchdown in the second half, even though they wasn't tackling. But yeah, and running back is another position where you're gonna see a lot of new guys in the fall. So a couple of bad things I do want to say is that Ja'Carri Brown did look bad, man. He looked bad, but in his defense, he was behind that trash offensive line, the second team offensive line. And it's not like he had Isaiah Horton, who Emory Williams was able to find. He had Nathaniel Joseph, who Emory Williams was able to find. He locked in on Robbie Washington. Obviously, that was his favorite receiver, and he completed some passes to him, but he didn't seem comfortable. You know,
he seemed like he reverted to his old ways. I seen that shit. I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, he didn't seem comfortable, and I'm concerned about the backup spot, man. Like, not concerned, but like for him, concerned for the backup spot for him, you know, because Emory Williams is coming, man. Like, kid just seems smart, seems like he just got it, and you know, Ja'Carri Brown is a hell of an athlete, one of the fastest players on the team. But it seemed like if he doesn't improve, he's just going to be a gadget player. He's going to be a player that they probably bring in certain packages, you know, maybe line him up at receiver and then throw it to him and then he throws a pass, you know, something like that. But as far as like being a legit backup, I don't know. I don't see it right now. But
yeah, man. I don't see it neither. You know, remember last podcast I was giving him praises. I'm hearing like in the off season they're giving him a lot of praises, saying that he's doing everything correctly. He's a lot more accurate. You know, he's dropping dimes. You know, I see highlights of him doing that as well. For him to go back to his old ways, it's like, you know, he lock on players. You know, he quick to run. He's not really going through his progressions like that. It's like you said, he was not settled. It looked like he was like that person that he said that he was, run first and then look, So
Yeah.
hopefully he could go ahead and fix that. Again, like you said, we're gonna give him the benefit of the doubt because he was lined up behind that trash ass offensive line. Hopefully that's the biggest issue I see because we're not going nowhere with this offensive line being the way it is right now. But again, we got a lot of people that's injured, a lot of people that haven't came in yet. So we'll go ahead and see. We got like a few months, like maybe like 4 or 5 months before the season actually starts. So that's a lot of room to learn more about the players, put the players in better position, and see who need to hit the transfer portal because a
Yeah.
few more people may have to hit the transfer portal,
There's going to be
and
a few more.
yeah, you see, Marcus don't want to tell you exactly who it is because he
Yeah.
know who it is, but just because he has this relationship, he's just gonna leave it like for us guessing. But we know, we can see it. It's right in our face. Some of you guys gonna have to go. I
Jabari
know you.
Ishmael, I don't know if you saw Jabari Ishmael is in the portal,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah. He just hit
you
the
kind
yeah.
of like I was actually saying it before the spring game started. I said it to Blue. I was right next to Larry Bluestein, and I was like, Jabari Ishmael is never going to see the field. You know, he's never going to see the field because he can't beat nobody. He couldn't beat anybody on one-on-ones. And then when I watched the spring game, he never got loose. He got loose on one play where I think TVD was able to rush out of the pocket and still get yards.
Mhm.
But he wasn't able to do anything. Not even against that offensive line. Like a player like Jaden Wayne, who's a freshman, is better than you already. And you've been with this program a couple years already. So I wasn't surprised at all to hear that he was in the
Transfer
transfer.
portal. I mean,
Yeah.
and like you said, man, the D line is deep. Like you're not gonna pass anybody. You got
Right.
Horton, you got Nigel Kelly, Ruben Bain, you all these people that everybody talk about. They're like, well, shit, I forgot you was actually on the damn team until you hit the transfer portal. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
but hey, it is what it is, man. We'll leave it at that with the Canes right now because they got a long way before they're actually who we think they should be. So I'm
Well,
not going to
my
ride.
Twitterverse is blowing up, and it seems like Tyler Van Dyke has announced that he's staying with the team.
Okay, perfect. Stay to the crib, man.
Yeah.
Please, man. Cause I'm like, man, come on, you about to ruin my damn day. You feel me? I'm like, man, I'm waiting to speak to Marcus because I know I was gonna text you about it or call you, but I'm like, nah, we're gonna hit the podcast anyway. Let me just go ahead and ask him while we're on the podcast. But yeah, man. So that's good news. More good news. Did you hear Tua lately? My dog, the arm of the Almighty Tua. Did you not hear his press conference where he did say again that he did think about retiring? Which is, I don't know why it's news all over again. I mean, he said it once already. And I think probably it wound up making a lot more news because this is the first time you actually really heard from him since the concussion, since the playoffs that he couldn't play in. And today I see the ESPN and they're talking about Tua. I mean, you got all these other quarterbacks right now that's having interviews that you could talk about, and they're focused on Tua. They're focused on his interview. I'm like, it was a positive thing because of course, they hate us because of the beaches, the women, and the weather. They definitely don't talk about the Dolphins. They don't talk about the Heat, the Panthers. We talk about them locally because home team. But for me to see that the national media was talking about Tua, it just shows that we have a diamond in the rough. We have a diamond, and I think other people's wanting him to retire because they don't want the Miami Heat, not the Miami Heat, the Miami Dolphins to actually get to where we should be.
Yeah.
People don't like Miami. Of course, yeah, we have the beaches, the women, the weather, but there's more to Miami, and I mean, it's paradise, but sometimes paradise is not paradise. I mean, we're going through a grass crisis right now because of the rain flooding people's houses and stuff like that. But to see that Tua is stating that he's in the jujitsu class, he is finding different ways to actually fall. He's not just they're not just showing him. He's literally doing it, practicing himself, different ways of falling, and so on and so on. So I think that we're good on that. We don't need to worry about the other injuries. I know, Marcus, you're really down on Tua. I know right now. I'm trying to wait and see what you're gonna say positive about my dog Tua.
I ain't
But
down.
yeah.
I ain't down.
Oh,
I'm glad to hear that he took jujitsu classes to learn how to fall. I'm glad he recognized, hey, I need some help. I got a little bread. Let me spend it on something that's gonna help me in my career and
mm-hmm.
really kind of elevate my level of being a quarterback. So I'm glad to hear that. I'm really glad to hear that. I mean, like you said though, wasn't it obvious that he was thinking about retiring? I mean, who wouldn't after 3 concussions in one season? And also he already had a really significant hip injury. Did you ever watch that documentary on
Now
Tua?
I even get to watch the documentary that so text me the name of it so I can make sure that I watch it because I got a free day tomorrow. I could definitely watch it tomorrow.
Yeah,
Early in
it
the
just
morning.
kind of puts in perspective what he went through. So he already went through like a really traumatic experience with the hip injury, and then now this whole concussion stuff. Of course, I would have thought about retiring too. I'm like, man, maybe football is just not for me. Maybe I should do something else. Maybe I should play golf or something. So I'm not surprised at all. What I was excited about with the Dolphins, though, I know you've seen this news, is what they call him,
Robbie,
Chosen Anderson now.
the
They call
chosen
him
one.
I think he changed his name to Chosen, but he was
Mhm.
Robbie Anderson. He's from the crib too. He's from
Mhm.
Broward. He's from like the same area that Jacoby George is from, Lauderhill.
Mhm.
Um, so he is with the Dolphins now, which is I'm I'm excited about that. I'm slightly worried only because I saw the game in which he was fighting with his coaches on the field, and then he basically left the field, and then the next day they cut him or trade him. They traded him like the next day to I think the Rams. No, they traded him to the Cardinals.
Panthers.
Yeah, he was on the Panthers, but they traded him to the Cardinals.
Okay.
So that gives me a little pause about him, but overall, he's a good player because I remember when he played for the Jets, and a lot of times he was bombing us, you know.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
I mean, it's another weapon. You got another weapon. You got Jalen Waddle, you got Tyreek Hill, you got Braxton Berrios, and now Anderson. Man,
Yeah,
uh,
man.
I like what we got.
Yeah, I like what we got. I seen that we got Braxton Berrios, so I was happy when we got him, and then to see we got this guy right now, I'm happy as well. You can never go wrong with a whole bunch of receivers, especially last year when they were locked in on Tyreek Hill and Waddle. It seemed like only a few people were able to get open as far as Sherfield and so on and so on. To
Who?
have
Sherfield, by the way.
Sherfield signed with the actual Buffalo Bills.
Mm-hmm.
He signed with the Buffalo Bills, and right after that, we signed Berrios. Hey, it is what it is. I'm not knocking it. At the time when he did sign with the Buffalo Bills, I felt some type of way. But after getting Braxton Berrios coming back to the crib from the U from the Jets, being a what's that person? A road runner, like meet, like the Looney Tunes when it
Yeah.
comes to the punt returns and kickoff returns, being able to put them burners on. Like to see that. You got Chosen Anderson. He runs like a 4.36. So we still got that speedy receivers with us. I don't know how it's going to pan out, to be honest with you, with him, but I think it's going to be something positive. He came back to the crib. Who has a problem with Mike McDaniel? No one. Everybody loves to play for this guy. I mean, you can see it now. Everybody's trying to come to Miami. It used to be a place where people actually came to retire, but it seems like this is a place where people want to actually build on their football career. And then you have people like Dalvin Cook thinking about coming back to the crib.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw like we have the best odds to land Dalvin Cook.
And why not? Why not? Go ahead and get rid of Cedric Wilson, that receiver that we got from Dallas that hasn't really showed much over here in Miami. Go ahead and get him to get traded, and then we'll probably have the money to go ahead and get Dalvin Cook. I know money is not an issue because Chris Greer finds ways to make these salaries work, and especially when you got an owner that's paying that money. That owner, Stephen Ross, he's throwing the bag. So definitely don't mind the way everything is looking for the Miami Dolphins right now. It looks like the up and up to me. And yeah, let's keep this thing going.
Yeah, let's keep it going, man. The draft is next week. I have no idea.
Don't need to worry about it. We have no first round.
I have no idea who Miami's going to draft at all. I'm just actually excited to see where Will Mallory gets chosen because he really showed up at the Senior Bowl and at the at Pro Day. He looked great, and at the Combine he ran like the fastest 40. So I'm interested to see where Will Mallory goes, and Tyreek Stevenson. I think he's going to be either second or third round pick. But from what I see, I think those are going to be your only draft picks from the University of Miami. Yeah, I mean, I doubt DJ Ivy gets picked. I doubt DJ Scaife gets picked. So it'll be interesting to see kind of where they fall in the draft. But as far as the Dolphins concerned, I have no idea who they're gonna pick, how many. I don't even know how many draft picks they have. But we'll see what happens next week. But more importantly, man, we'll see what happens this week. One more thing, I just want to shout out the Panthers last night. I was watching them. They are the 8th seed as well, and they beat the Boston Bruins last night 6-2 in a really exciting game. They scored like 4 goals in the last period, and then they just started fighting everybody like towards the end of the game. Like every 5 minutes toward the end of the game, they just started fighting. So you can tell they got that dog in them. By the way, there's another black dude on this team. There's 2 black dudes on the team. I just noticed that the other day. I was like, damn, I really haven't been watching this. But the first game, when I saw the first game, though, I was like, yo, we could beat Boston. And Boston, by the way, has the best record ever in the NHL history this season. The best record in NHL history this season. So for us to already have a game, and the first game, I was like, yo, we could beat this team. And now we're coming back home. I think we can make history. I think this is the way that the Panthers can actually make a playoff run, because I think if they like that year where they had the best record, all the pressure was kind of on them. This year they're the underdog. Nobody's picking them. Nobody's even thinking that they can make any noise against Boston, let alone any other teams. But I think this could be the year that they make a run. So,
yeah, me too. I definitely think they can make a run now, especially like what you said, whole lot of pressure going against the Tampa Bay Lightning and losing to them every year. I think we lost to them like 3 years in a row. You feel me? We doing great. It's either we're doing great, we play them, we lose, then our coach get fired, and it was always some type of negative swirl surrounding the team because of stuff like that. And for us to we're basically the individuals that played us last year, almost having the best record of all time, and we don't have the pressure like you say, and we basically jumped in the playoffs like by other teams actually winning and other teams losing. We didn't get in the playoffs because we just like muscling shit, and we deserve to be in the playoffs. But you know what I mean? Certain teams they're like what's going on with the Miami Heat, playing games. There ain't no playing game in the NHL, but to be 7, 8, in the brackets, it's not like you're turning heads and stuff like that. So for them, that new guy, Kachuk, for him to be balling the way he balling, muscling shit, showing people like, man, y'all in Dade County, man. Yeah, we got the beaches, the women, the weather. You feel me? And we go ahead.
I'm impressed that you know Kachuk, bro.
What you mean? Come on, man. Look, lately I've been following the Panthers because, you know, at the end of the day, remember you and Chris, y'all put me on point. Y'all put me on point as far as with the rules, as far as like comparing it to soccer and certain things like that. So when y'all put me on point, and we're actually the best team at that particular time, the last 2 years, this is the third year, we why not? You know, I mean, it's always a good way to follow a sport and learn a sport when your team is doing good. And it was easy for me to go ahead and see it because I was able to watch it and not be mad. I was more happy than sad, you know? So you know, seeing the trades and stuff like that happened, us getting Kachuk, you know, a lot of people, some people was angry because who we got rid of, but shit, his ass didn't do nothing in the playoffs. Like, you didn't show up. So why? Like, no, we pay people to be these superstars or these great players, and he didn't do it. So we wound up getting Kachuk. So, and Kachuk his family is, from what I understand, is very gritty, very hockey, old school, gonna put it on. So now you know your boy Wes is on point. Your boy
you are on point. You're on point for real. Yeah, his dad played. His dad is probably gonna be a Hall of Famer. I think his sister plays field hockey or something like that. And Chuck, I believe he won MVP of the All-Star game too, which was down here. So yeah, man, he's out to prove for himself. So yeah, he played well. So I'm interested to see what they could do, man, because Boston seems shook. They seem like they kind of shook right now.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens when they come down to the crib. So
I will be watching.
All right, let's go.
So yeah, man. I don't have anything else right now for tonight. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and end this podcast until the next episode of the MarcWes Sports Podcast. Peace. Told you, boy, your boy on point now, boy. What you mean?